The king! I am the thing of legend! The thing that your mama told you, don't go outside, cause you'll get fucked up. I'm what's waiting on you in the dark.
Bless up, it's your humble host, Big Truck. Hey, yo, shout out to my man Dialogue. Got a special interview with my man Daz Dillinger. We're going to tap into this thing, and we're going to hear what he has to say. So, with that being said, they got some things to say. I have some things to say. And then the spirit of the universe is going to take us home. Shout out to my place, my hood, Long Beach on the strength. Grab your shoulder pads and your helmet, and let's get this work. Let's go.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
My involvement with the Chronic album was from 1991, living at Whitley and Sunset, living in Hollywood with Dr. Dre creating the Chronic album. You know what I mean? And producing, rapping, and learning the game about gritty music and then quality music. Dr. Dre.
I know that area so well because I used to live on Hollywood Boulevard in Sycamore. So I know exactly what Daz is talking about, the location he stayed at. So, yeah, I used to live there, and I catch the bus going to West LA College because I played football at West LA. 98, 99, let's get it.
Shit was quality. It didn't sound like East Coast music, the grimy and all that. This shit sounded fucking clear. Like, it blew my mind, you know what I'm saying? So from then on, I just stole all the drum machines and shit, you know, here, there, keyboard, a Korg M1, and learned what Warren G showed me on the drum machine, and then I learned what Dr. Dre showed me to lay it down on tape so I can add a lot more things into it. If I say the wind is blowing and I got some wind blowing on there, you know what I'm saying? Just adding more stuff on there, just quality, you know? And the Chronic album is what made my career, and I ain't got paid for it yet, so, you know, I'm fighting for that.
So you not getting paid anything for the Chronic at all?
I just got drum programmer. You know, that was just something to throw Daz to the side.
Like I've always highlighted, you got to know what you're signing up for. Got to know how you read your contracts. Daz gives a valid introduction, conversation, into knowing how this game go. The business aspect of it, getting paid, royalties, credits, and so forth, that maybe a large number of individuals don't know. Maybe you have some they do know. But Daz gives you a crash course into that and how you should get paid for your services.
That's crazy to me, man. I mean, it's been over 30 years and you still haven't got paid for that. The money you were supposed to be getting.
That was Death Row Records. Suge Knight, he didn't have no royalty department. So he was just giving out money, you know, and doing the nigga shit, you know what I'm saying? Until the white folks got it, which was Koch. And then E1, after they fucked off Koch, then they fucked off E1, and now they have Monarch. So when you change that many hands and names in business, what does that tell you? Bad business. They trying to start over again. And so they switched that, and this was the last 30 years, because, you know, after 35 years, it's up. Everybody get their stuff. So that's why they sold it to Snoop for the last 5 years.
What he meant by the 35 years, 35 years up, you get your masters. So the label has 35 years where they can make profit off of your masters before they return it to the artist. But that doesn't always happen so successfully. You feel me? All right.
So he can manipulate everybody, suck them back in, because that money flowing real good over there. And I want a piece of it.
So since Snoop been over it, he haven't been trying to help you get your money?
I mean, he getting me some of it, but he not getting me all what I deserve, you know what I mean? You know, he going off bad paperwork that he's abiding by. You know, they forged a lot of paperwork and he know it, but he looking like, damn, Dad's got a lot of shit over here. I gotta abide by this shit, man. And I'm like, you know, that's the computation. Let our people go.
And you did work on Doggy Style, right?
Yeah, I put in and worked on every piece of artwork was over there, from production to writing to skits, album covers, all that stuff. My cousin Joe Cool drew the Doggy Style album cover. Rest in peace.
I remember Joe Cool. Rest in peace, Jay. I mean, me and him used to catch the bus together going to Long Beach City College, taking art classes together. And he showed me the blueprint of Snoop's Doggy Style album. He's like, this is the blueprint. This is what it's going to look like. I was one of the ones who've seen it before, others have seen it, but I know, Dad's probably seen it and so forth, but that is not family. I was one of the first ones to see it. And he was a very talented artist. So, like I said, I remember good times. Me and him would catch the bus together and we'd sit next together in the art class. We'd trip and shit. And, I'd buy him some soda and some snacks, and he'd buy me some soda and some snacks when we take our lunch break. And, it was always good times with me and Joe Cool. So when I heard of his passing, I was definitely heartbroken. And, so, much love and respect to the Dog Pound and, my hood, Long Beach. So me, Long Beach, boy, 710 South, let's get it.
So, just everything I had my hands in, producing, just learning the game, soaking up the game, learning from the great Dr. Dre, So, and then writing from the DOC, you know what I'm saying?
Crazy, man. Hopefully you get your money, man. I could imagine, Dre and Snoop, they can make some calls, right? And help you get some of your money.
Man, Dre sold that shit, man, for a couple of $100 million. He ain't got nothing to do with it no more. It's all Universal. And that's the same thing with Tupac, like E1. They got rid of E1, got rid of Tupac's All Eyes on Me and gave Snoop back the Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? But all this paper, but where's the paperwork at? You know what I mean? I believe all of it's false and fake because it's a lot of false stuff that I see. As you can see, the contract that I posted on my Instagram that Miss Chalet signed. How can you sign for me for power of attorney? Where's your power of attorney paper at? So that's the first thing I'm going to say in court. Produce me the power of attorney. Point blank. Everything's stolen. I need 50% of the masters and everything. This is rap lotto right here. This is the ticket right here.
But this is how the game goes. You play the game how it goes. And it's so cutthroat. Even turn friends against each other. Turn family members against each other. Business partners against each other. This is a cutthroat game. And that's why I always tell people, you got to have a backup plan. You already know when you sign your contract, you sign your contract. You get your advancement, you get your advancement. A lot of people, when they get the advancement, they spend that shit instead of using the shit for their album. And then whatever stuff they have left over, if you got debt, pay that, or you give it back to the record label when it's time to give back. Because you already know on the back end, the label going to make their money back when you tour and give shows and do shows. Merchandise. You got to be smart with your advancement. Not sitting up there popping crystals and tricking and buying jewelry and taking care of your mans in them. No. Do your shit the way you're supposed to do it. Now, if you have your own production, company where you have your people to do your own thing, that cuts that right in half. But see, most don't think that way.
You know what I'm saying? All I did was just play my part and be myself and have knowledge of self to understand what's going on around here and don't be a fool.
I seen online that you were selling Chronic CDs. You making some good money off of that?
For those to be exposed, I need to, I plead the fifth. Nah. Hey, shout out to all my fans out there who purchased the CD. You know what I'm saying? I got my own pressing machine. I pressed up just enough copies to, you know what I'm saying? My next one is the dog food. You know what I'm saying? I'm pressing up anything that I ain't get paid for. You know what I'm saying? And why should they go? It's not on big platforms. They still got iTunes. They still got Spotify.
And that's a smart move for him to do. Hey, press up and sell the shit that you did the work on. What they gonna say? You can't do that? when in fact you did the work? Whether if it's the writing, the beats, the producing of it, nigga, you did that shit. So you have every right to do what you need to do to make ends meet on those project sales. So I don't knock Daz for doing that. Smart move. Especially if you take it to another level and put that shit on Spotify, iTunes, and all of that.
I'm just selling this shit out the garage online, my garage online, you know.
Yeah, I don't think nobody gonna trip over that, man. They ain't tripping.
They better not, because I'm coming in with mine. Baya. You know what I'm saying? Countersuit. Or I'm just going to sue you first. It's whatever. Or, sit down and talk and make this happen. Ain't nothing but a couple of dollars.
When y'all trailer got shot up, Big, he was behind that, right?
Yeah, we was in Red Hook, Brooklyn. We was shooting a video for New York, New York. And that's the scene that we on the stairs and shooting when it was snowing. And then we went to the trailer, we smoking in there. And all of a sudden, a window pop. Pow! And some shit shatter. But motherfuckers are still partying in there, you know what I'm saying? Next thing I know, something shatter again. Pow, pow. The street instincts kick in. Get on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And then they security running there, say, where's Snoop at? And everybody say nothing because, we learn not to say nothing in case a nigga come in there want to shoot. And once he let us know it was Death Row Security, Frank, Frank from Tupac, we niggas get up and get the fuck up out of there. Video over with. Now we go to LA and start kicking the buildings over. You know what I mean? Because Funkmaster Flex and Biggie got on the radio and just told them, this is where them niggas at. That's the address. That's where they at, Times Square, represent New York. It was over with then. All hell jumped off. But all we was doing was giving praise to New York. We thought we was doing something. Niggas always think they doing something because, Melly Mel made up the hook. It was a Melly Mel song. We didn't change no lyrics. You know what I'm saying? But they took it the wrong way, maybe because we had 6'4" low-lows, niggas with khaki.
One thing about New York, they don't be playing. They serious. They serious about their city. And shout out to my New Yorkers because I got family that live in New York. But hey, New Yorkers don't play. Just like cats in L.A. I got family in L.A. too. L.A. don't play. So I can kind of see where certain things can be taken the wrong way or looked at the wrong way back then. When you sit back and you look at it now, okay, certain things was taken out of context and it wasn't meant to be for disrespect, but others feel disrespected. That's why when you out of towners, oftentimes to eliminate all the BS, you do have to check in. Check in and, for the most part, you'll get that pass.
He's smoking weed and shit. That's when weed wasn't legal out there in New York. So, but all shout out to New York, though. I love y'all. It's Daz Dillinger.
Was Tupac out yet when y'all trailer got shot up?
Pac was out of jail, but he didn't come. And then once he heard about it, he went stupid ballistic. He was like, come on back home. And then, that's when we started making songs like NY 187 and a whole bunch of songs that I produced that I ain't heard yet, But he got an arsenal of songs, though. Another song that I did was called Only for the Money. Now, that's a song that I produced, put together, and destroyed the reels. So nobody can make no remixes. Nobody can do shit. This song is going to be here forever, just like I produced it. You know what I'm saying? When we got back from New York, Tupac was so excited and ready to diss. We made songs like NY 187 with me, DJ Quick, and some other people like that. You know what I'm saying?
So Snoop, he did throw some shots at Big on NY 187. That was his reaction to the shooting.
Yeah, that was the reaction to the trailer thing, yeah.
But y'all had a relationship with Big, right? Before that incident?
Yeah, most definitely. And, right before he died, Tupac had died, and right before Biggie had died, Mace, Lil Caesar and B.I.G. had called me to the studio. Remember, Tupac is already dead. Everybody's feuding. But we still cool because they called me to the studio to serve them some weed. And that's when they was making that song, Crips and Hoes and Ones and Lows. You know, that one right there with Too Short. I'm like, damn, you know, Biggie was in there. And I didn't even sell him no weed. I just gave him the 2 ounces. You know what I'm saying? And me and C's, we talk about that, you know what I'm saying? But we was cool. Because I was going to have Puffy mix the Dog Pound album, and then Suge came and like, nah, I didn't even know what was going on, you know what I'm saying? But I knew it was some tension going on, but you can see, because every time we try to hang with him and all that, Suge Knight would come into play.
That whole East-West beef, you know, and if they would have came together and do a compilation, that shit would have hit that right there would have skyrocket. Like Death Row All-Stars representing the West, Bad Boys All-Stars representing the East, and they both do a compilation album together. Man, don't you know the traction that album would get? But again, when you got individuals in this industry and you allow the industry to make you and tell you how you have to behave, how you have to look, how you have to sound like, it is what it is.
But this is before their success too. This is before Biggie's success too. So, you know, and then we on stage freestyling. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, that was in our younger days. That was before we was even 22 years old.
What was you thinking when Big did come out to LA so soon after Pac got killed?
That was a little bold. I wouldn't be out of New York. You know, you just gotta learn gang culture and street culture, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what Puffy was thinking. You know what I mean? So rest in peace, B.I.G., man, you know. We don't know who to blame.
Yeah, I know Puffy when he was in LA.
It's not a thing of knowing who to blame. We know. We just not saying. We just keeping our mouth shut. You know, I mean, rest in peace to Biggie, Pac, and all of them, man. You know, 2 of the most prolific writers and rappers, and individually in their own lane were great. Tupac was great in his lane. Biggie was great in his lane. You know, man, if there's a song out there with both of them doing something together, that would be amazing. But again, you know, these artists, it goes back to what I highlighted earlier when we talked about making a deal with the devil, signing your soul to the devil in this industry. You know, we talk about it so much and we look at it now for what it is. And now we're getting educated on these things. Now we sitting back connecting the dots. Now we doing our research. And then you look at it now. I mean, a lot of artists in this generation are going so independent. You know, long as they have a large following on social media. I mean, TikTok, Instagram have a large following. You know, Twitter, you know, YouTube. You have a large audience and a large following, and then you just have a manager to promote your shows. Boom, there you go. And then you get with some of these major artists and say, hey, I'd like to open up for you. I would like to perform on your tour. So there's ways of getting into the action without the help of a record label, and you solely doing it independently. Or you can do what Ice Cube did, Master P did. Hey, I have an independent label. I want a distribution deal. That's the other route.
He did the Steve Harvey show with Snoop, right?
I mean, you know, just them two getting together for peace and, you know, whatever they thought was right at that time, you know. Well, you know, but the war was still going on as far as street niggas, because Tupac died and everybody in their feelings. You know, and we from Long Beach, so we not in that mix. You know what I'm saying? We just looking at the mix. You know what I'm saying? Because when Tupac died, me, Badass, was in the studio. And when Biggie died, I was at home watching it on the...
And shout out to my boy Badass, who passed. My boy Nate Dogg, who passed. I mean, man, Bo Rock from the Dove Shack passed. I mean, coming from Long Beach, you know, everybody know everybody. That's why we talk about your girl, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Nigga, we know her. She ain't no damn doctor. Her name is Cheyenne Bryant. And we already knew what type of time she was on way back then. So the stuff that she's talking about and how she moving now in real time in 2026, this ain't nothing new. Let's continue.
The news. Like, damn. You know, like when Doughboy found out his brother was killed, when they drive by, you're like, damn. You know, like one of those.
Why didn't y'all go to Vegas for the Tyson fight?
I mean, we went out there last time and did the same thing, so I just felt like I didn't want to go. You know, we went out there when Tupac got out of jail for the 662 release, but Snoop couldn't go because he was on house arrest, I think. And so we felt like we didn't want to go at that time, and that was my reason, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to drive 4 hours and then got to drive 4 hours back, you know what I mean? Plus, we wasn't performing. So...
When Pac and Corrupt had that altercation, was you there?
It was really more verbally. There wasn't no altercation. It was just, it started off like this. We out in Cabo. We had this big ass round table, fire and shit. We smoking and, you know, having a good time. And then Corrupt got a bottle of Hennessy and he hitting it on the back of the chair. And Tupac just like, cut that out, nigga. And then Corrupt must have been drunk and said something smart to him. And then he like, man, you can go upstairs, nigga. And then everybody from the dog pound looked like, what? And then they said, I don't think we all can be friends if we gonna fight. And then I got up and said, you know, because Corrupt my boy. And at the time I was like, I'll take the fade, you know, because, you know, Corrupt little. So, you know, and then Suge.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But Corrupt is a cool brother. I got nothing but mad love and respect for Brother Corrupt. You know, very articulate. He that's what you call a lyricist. He one of these. He got lyrics that'll make you think. But you know, we look at things, we do things when we were younger, but now that we older, we have a different outlook on things, we have a different perspective on things. And you know, sometimes when you out there and you wilding, you know?
Step in and, you know, do all that. But everything was cool after that, you know what I'm saying? It was a misunderstanding, you know what I'm saying? But you see, we were still doing records after that. As soon as we got back, we did Just Shopping. That song, Just Shopping. Nah, by the Dramatics. I produced that song, you know what I'm saying? As soon as we got off the plane, we go straight to the studio. We drop at least 4 or 5 songs, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really think it was a misunderstanding to say, you're just a part of, that's just what happened. There was a lot of ass whooping. We wasn't getting our ass whooped. We just seen a lot of people getting their ass whooped trying to get in the circle. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a dude that rapped, and he was rapping some type of shit, like some MC shit, and they slapped the shit out of him. Next thing I know, he was jumping out of the 6'4" with his hand on his gun and all that shit, you know, that type of shit just to get put on. Death Row was like some hip-hop history, like getting put on like Ruthless Records and Eazy-E, you know what I'm saying? It was that exciting, the rap gang, to be in it, you know?
That phone call of you going off on Easy, how did it get to that point?
We was young, you know what I'm saying? Tripping out, you know, just being young niggas. And we called to the radio, and DOC was with us, and Miss Chalet was with us. And so, you know, we was just showing out on the radio, you know what I'm saying? He was like, have you ever seen $1 million? And I'm like, no. So, you know, rest in peace to Eazy-E, man. You know, as I look at it now, it wasn't even our fight, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, all respect due to Eazy-E. I mean, with the kids, with Lil Easy and the sisters. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, everything's changed for us as we got older. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, when you look at the game for what it is and how cats behave back then, I'm quite sure y'all can understand, you know, when y'all was out there youngin', y'all was out there wilding, doing stupid, dumb shit. I know I used to do stupid, dumb shit. You know, me being in Long Beach, there's a circle. And in that circle, everybody knows everybody. You know, so me, Snoop, and all of them, Warren, Nate, we all know the same people. Daz, Corrupt, we all know the same people. Have we ever sat at the table together? No. But we all know the same people. You know, I made my name known battle rapping from Long Beach to Compton, Carson. You know, just battle rapping, that was my thing. I'm talking about when they had the Long Beach Mall. Niggas was in there battling. I went to Poly. First high school I went to was Wilson. The skinny kid with glasses. I used to get punked on and teased and bullied. Then I went from Wilson to Long Beach Jordan, making my name known, rapping. Just, that was my thing, you know. Then, because I stayed close to Poly, shout out to my East Siders, I got bused to Poly. And when I went to Long Beach Poly, man, sky was the limit. But that's how I made my name known out there in Long Beach. You know, individuals knew of me. We go right over there to VIP. Shout out to my man Calvin. At that time, owned and ran VIP Records, which Snoop did his first video was at. So, I mean, the twins, man, I can keep on going. You know, the 5-footers, my homegirl Cola. So my nigga Two Scoop, Lil Half Dead. You know, I can keep going. But again, being young and wilding and just, you know, being or trying to find yourself, yeah, we're gonna get into some shit. Yeah, we're gonna be about some shit. But there's gonna come a time where we're gonna get older. There's a time that we're gonna grow. There's a time we're gonna mature. There's a time we're gonna move past that. You know, me being half Jamaican and Samoan, I was kicking it with everybody. You know, I've never banged, but I have family members that banged, and I hung around people that did it. But I was mainly known for battle rapping more than anything. So that's how individuals knew of me, and then the respect that individuals had for me. You know, I had some Bloods that had respect for me. I had some Crips that had respect for me. Eastside Longos had respect for me. Some of the Asian gangs that had respect for me. Because I was that dude that is what I was about. And when it came time for scrapping, trust me, I'm a good hand technician. You know, so I understand where Daz is coming from, and I respect where Daz is coming from. Let's continue.
And from BG Knockout to Bone Thugs and Harmony, you know what I'm saying? We the Thug Pound, and you know what I'm saying? We match for a cause, and you know what I'm saying? Everything changed.
Who was the reason behind Pac coming to death row, from your point of view?
My point of view, Snoop Dogg and me. Snoop Dogg and me, you know what I'm saying? Because we had a relationship with him. And when Tupac came to death row, I did this song called Hard on the, which was on the Gridlock soundtrack. Was supposed to be for Murder Was the Case. That was back in 93, 94. We didn't use the song till 97, 98. So he was like, Dad, I got to get paid for this song. And I say, hold on. Picked up the phone, called Suge. He got paid like $30,000. He like, this is the most I ever got paid for a song. And I'm like, damn, we ain't even used this motherfucker. So that was that part.
I heard you say that when Pac, when he first came to death row, you gave him a warning about gangbanging.
Yeah, he got out of jail. We went to Monty's, ate some lobster and Cristal, and had a real good time. And then we going to the studio. And that's when we made Ambitions of a Rider. Now, Ambitions of a Rider made the tempo for All Eyes on Me. Anything after that, got to be higher. You know what I'm saying? The attitude when he first got out, and you know what I'm saying? And I got him to the side because I seen what Death Row was doing. And I said, man, don't let this gangbanging get between us. You know what I'm saying? We friends now, but I see that they want you to, represent Death Row. We represent Dog.
Remember when we were talking, what I was highlighting before about how the labels will shape you and change you into what they want. And sometimes it ruins relationships. Sometimes it ruins friendships. Remember I highlighted that? You're about to explain it.
Dog Pound. We really didn't represent Death Row. We never really screamed out Death Row, Death Row. We screamed out Dog Pound. And Hershey Loke switched sides on us. And he was representing Death Row because he came back out one time with all red on us. Like, yeah, blood. We like, what? And we had Jamal and him fighting on a bus, and Suge was talking, and I socked Malik in the back of the head because he was tripping. And then, but they wanted somebody to represent Death Row Records, and Tupac was the candidate. And I just told him, man, don't let this gangbanging get between us. You know what I mean? Because I see what they doing. They want you to represent MOB. And that's just what he did.
That's like telling a woman, that's like telling a black woman, don't follow modern feminism. Don't let it ruin a good relationship, a good household between a black man and a black man and a black woman. Don't do it. And then you got a large number of black women following modern feminism. And now look what happened. The home is destroyed. Relationships is destroyed. I'm just saying.
What was his reaction when you said that?
Oh man, I ain't gonna let I'm Tupac, the thug life, But this is gangbanging. You know what I mean? So the littlest thing you gotta watch out for in gangbanging.
Did that create tension between y'all and Pop when he was hanging out with Suge and his people more?
Nah, because he was still repping with thug life. They all them was from 40s, Inglewood,
The littlest thing you gotta watch out for when you're dealing with a modern feminist woman. And I'm glad a large number of men are paying attention.
I'm saying they was Crips, so later on, when you start having all that money, Suge was just throwing that the money pile, you know what I'm saying, and feeling like this and that, and he's seen all the niggas that was, some penitentiary big niggas, you know what I mean? So he just felt like, I can't be stopped. You know what I'm saying? Especially after you going after Biggie and Puffy, you need some niggas, you know what I'm saying? So he took on MOB, and it didn't stand for money over bitches. Shit, it stand for the Mob Power Roof to me, you know what I'm saying? Compton, Bullis Boulevard next to the Compton Swap Meet. That's what, I'm from Long Beach, so I know what the MOB stand for.
I'm from Long Beach too. I know what it stands for. Your boy used to hang with some of them, and we not only go to Compton Swap Meet, but we go to Del Amo Swap Meet. We go to the Del Amo Mall. Some of us go to Lakewood Mall. So yeah.
He just made another definition for it. You know what I'm saying? So you should understand it when you represent that, but we all knew because we from Long Beach and everything to us is gangbang literature.